to the
29th of August, Rabbi Furst, Pierke Avos.
okay. Thank you. As Blue mentioned, this is Rabbi Shlomo Furst. Here is Shiva Samanapshi, here is Shlaim Kirib Zoom. Bez Hashem, we're going to continue on to the Maharal Miprag. We're getting a clear understanding of why Klal Yisrael was destined to go and be enslaved by the Egyptians. And that brings us to, I believe, paragraph number 8, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct? Yeah.
I think you're right. I have a bookmark on 7. You said we were going to repeat it, or should we move on?
Let's see, 7. Let's see, we did that 7. I think actually the okay. Let's pick up from yeah, right. Um let's pick up from paragraph 10. Let's pick up from paragraph 10.
Okay. Okay, should I read?
Yeah, if you like, you can begin to read, sure.
Okay. Ve'ein ha'chata'im shavim. The sins are not equal. Ki ha'chet asher hu b'mikra la'adam. Since the sin that what is mikra?
Ashehu b'mikra is a it's like it's I would it's an accident, but that's not the greatest word to use around here. Accident. There are no accidents, but I'll try it for like it's maybe like it's an occurrence it's an event for a person. Ki achet eshu b'mikra la'adam, a chet, which is something which is an event. It's maybe accident. Let's go with accident for right now. Maybe I'll find a better word as we get further on. A chait is something which is accidental. I mean, like obviously there are different types of sins. Some are intentional, right? Some are through negligence, right? But so yeah, I guess let's leave it as an accident or a mischance. Maybe mischance is better. You heard that word recently, Mayor? Mischance?
Yeah, I've heard of it. Have to look that one
Mis-
up.
I prefer mischance rather than accident because there are no accidents really. I mean, uh, but
Okay, so we'll
maybe
call it a mischance for a person.
yeah.
Eno shekol kamo hachet asher hu be'etzem la'adam. What is shekol?
Ain't a shokul. It's not equal. Kamo cheta shehu be'etzem la'adam. Meaning I see now. There are hates which you can call which happen to be like mischances or accidental to the person, and accidental. That's nice. I like that actually. Accidental. Accidental is like accidental, meaning it's not part of the essence of the person, right?
Right.
So you have certain chatoim, certain sins which are accidental to the person, and it's not shokol, it's not equal to the type of a chet which is be'etzem la'adam, which is from the essence of a person. for example, let's take example like Esav, right? So Esav, the sins that he were involved with were like they weren't accidental to him. That was his life. That's what he thrived on, right? Those things that he thrived on, those things, right? So those weren't accidental to a person. Was a person like that, like this is gonna focus in on Avram Avinu, or the way that we've been explaining it, that the servitude and the enslavement of Klal Yisrael at the hands of the Egyptians was due to the fact that Avraham Avinu had this ever so slight lack of fulfillment of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's perfect expectations of him, and that lack of perfection in Hashem's expectations of him in fulfilling his obligations of emunah, faith in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that slight flaw in Hashem's expectations of him, that led to the fact that Klal Yisrael, his offspring, had to be enslaved and subjugated to the punishments given to them by the Egyptians. So even though that it was a very slight type of a sin, it wasn't something which was part of the essence of Avram Avinu. There's something was, so to speak, accidental to him. Nevertheless, since as the previous paragraphs explained, since Avram Avinu was the shorish, the root of Klal Yisrael, right? So everything that's in the root is going to be magnified and enhanced as the root is extended to its various different branches. That's what we used the example yesterday of the tree, right? The roots of a tree are very deep down in the ground, in the moisture in the earth, and from what they absorb from the moisture in the earth, right, they bring forth through the trunk of the tree to the branches, right? Finally, they bring forth fruits, right? So the fruits are a extreme enhancement of what was there deep in the ground, right? They were extremely enhanced based on what the tree, through its roots and its trunk, brought forth. And so therefore that's an illustration of the fact that something which is at the source of something, it's going to be enhanced and exaggerated, right, to the extreme extent when it comes to its final outcome, as you see with the tree with the fruits on the branch of the tree, right? So likewise, we don't see it so clearly when we're talking about nations, people, right? But the extreme servitude and subjugation that Klal Yisrael, the offspring of Avraham Avinu, that they had to go through at the hands of the Egyptians, was so extreme, because even though the chet that's attributed to Avraham Avinu was on a very slight, fine level of lack of expectations, of lack of fulfillment of the expectations of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, nevertheless, to correct that flaw required a tremendous, extreme rectification on the part of his offspring, because just as the fruit of the tree is an extreme manifestation. Oh, that's it. Very good. The fruit of the tree is an extreme manifestation of what's in the roots of the tree, right? So likewise, the offspring of a person are an extreme manifestation of what's in the person himself. Meaning Avraham Avinu being the head and the father of our nation. So therefore, the extreme subjugation that Klal Yisrael had to suffer at the hands of the Egyptians was because of that ever slight lack of perfection in the expectations of HaKadosh Baruch Hu on what he expected from Avraham Avinu. Oh. So now we're going into the points about sins, that certain sins are in essence attached and stemming from the essence of the person, and some things which are incidental. They're simply incidental. They just happen to be. Let's put it this way: some certain. I'll put it in this context. Certain sins are because of the environment. That's what we call the mikra la'adam. The mikra la'adam is the environment that the person's in. And some sins are because the etzem of the adam, because of his actual essence of the person. Two completely different types of sins.
Huh. Yeah.
Okay. There you go. Okay, good. If that's clear, we can go on now.
Okay, uvezeh ha ar kanu lemala b'ma shechet Yisrael roy lechafra v'lislicha. And with this, what is this word? Archanu?
From the shores of that word is orech. Orech is length, right? Orech is the length. If you want to know what the length of something is, what's the orech of the thing, right? So achrinu, that's which we elaborated. Here we lamala. That ubezeh achrinu lamala. And this we elaborated upon previously above.
And this that we elaborated above with what that the sin of Israel is fitting for atonement and forgiveness. Ba'avor she'atzmam ro'im haim l'taher ulenekius min hachet. For the sake of itself, it's fitting for them to become tahor nakius, I don't know.
Nikias, yeah, cleanly, being clean, meaning was there achrina lamala b'mashechet Yisrael roy lekapar b'slicha, and that which we elaborated upon above, that a sin for Klal Yisrael, it's fit for them that they have a kapara, an atonement, b'slicha, and a pardoning. Why? Bavur, because she'etzamam roim heim l'tahara minikius minichet, because they, Klal Yisrael, are in essence fit that they should be tahor, pure, minikius, and clean from sin. That's the essence of Klal. The essence of Klal Yisrael is they should be free, clean, and pure from chet. So therefore, in order to achieve that, right? In order to achieve that, meaning this is a whole different perspective on the Shibud Mitzrayim. When you think about it, the Shibud Mitzrayim, you think, well, even Moshe Rabbeinu, Rashi brings down in Chumash. Rashi brings down that Moshe Rabbeinu was wondering why was Klal Yisrael of all nations deserving of this terrible shibud, this terrible slavery and subjugation that they had at the hands of the Egyptians? He didn't say there were no other nations that were enslaved to the extent that the Jewish people were enslaved in, right? No, you didn't see that there in Mitzrayim. Moshe Rabbeinu, don't forget, Moshe Rabbeinu was a prince. He was raised in the palace of Pharaoh, right? He was a prince. He understood the Egyptian society perfectly, right? And he didn't see any other nation enslaved. Yeah, he didn't see any other nation enslaved at the hands of the Egyptians. So he was wondering, and he was very thoughtfully uh, concerned about why Klal Yisrael was being subjugated and not any other nation. And so this is a new perspective in why that is, right? That oh, if you want, if you want to take out a chumash, this is beautiful. This is really beautiful. If you take out a chumash shmos, Perek Beis, the second chapter of Shmos, and Pasuk Yud Daled, Pasuk Yud Daled. Read if you want. Read the pasuk, and we'll see the Rashi. This is gonna fit in beautiful.
Who made you a man, a ruler, and a judge over us? Are you saying that you are going to kill me as you killed the Egyptian? So this is when Moshe Rabbeinu confronts who was it? Datan and Aviram.
Yes, that's right.
And they're pointing out to him that the other day he killed an Egyptian.
Right.
Okay, so let's look at the Rashi. Who made you a man? You are still a mere lad. Are you saying that you are going to kill me? From here we learn that Moshe killed the Egyptian through uttering God's quintessential, ineffable name. Okay, now it says Moshe was frightened, and he thought, indeed, the matter has become known. Rashi says, Moshe was frightened. Moshe's fear is to be understood according to the simple sense. He was afraid of being apprehended and punished for killing the Egyptian. And its midrashic interpretation is that Moshe was afraid because he was worried, because he had seen evil men among Israel, informers. He said, now that this is so, perhaps they are not fit to be redeemed. Indeed, the matter has become known. This can be understood as it sounds. Moshe said that his killing the Egyptian had become known. And its midrashic interpretation, Moshe said, the matter that I was puzzled about has been clarified for me. I used to ask, in what did Israel sin more than all the 70 nations of the world? That they should be tyrannized with crushing labor. But now that I see that there are informers among them, I see that they are deserving of such punishment.
Oh. So this Rashi, this Rashi is basically coming to explain the statement of Moshe Rabbeinu, right? And it's true that this statement is in reference to the sin of being the informers of Dasan Veriva, right? But I'm just borrowing that, right? I'm borrowing that concept that there was this question in Moshe Rabbeinu's eyes and mind. What was the reason? What was the chet that was behind the shibud of Mitzrayim? So what I'm doing is simply applying what the moral is saying, that there are other chets involved too, meaning the fact that they actually went down to Mitzrayim, meaning let's ask the question of Rashi as follows. Rashi's, according to the way I understand Rashi's explaining now Moshe Rabbeinu has an answer to why Klal Yisrael is being subjugated more than any other nation, correct?
Yeah.
But this chet that Moshe Rabbeinu perceived, right, was something which just happened when the last day or so, right? It just happened yesterday.
Well, certainly it's not has nothing to do with Avraham Avinu.
That, yeah, correct. But leave Avram Avinu on the side for a moment. On the Rashi itself, Rashi's saying Moshe Rabbeinu now has an answer. First of all, what was Moshe Rabbeinu's question, and what was the answer they now received?
His question was, why is Israel worse than the other nations?
Door unlocked. Not.
And his answer
Right, what,
is there are informers.
informers. So, and how does he? So where are these? Where are these informers?
That's what I wonder, because just because Datan and Aviram know about it, that doesn't prove that they're informers.
Well, no, he's saying that the way they spoke to him, right? He understood it was that they had now mentioned this to whatever authorities were in power to do something about what Moshe Rabbeinu had done. But I'm concerned with something else, meaning the shibud, right? The shibud has been going on for the last say 100 years, right? That might have been before Das and Veri were even born. Meaning, is Moshe Rabbeinu attributing the whole shibud Mitzrayim to what Dasan and Aviram had done? Is that what Moshe Rabbeinu means to say, or the way Rashi is explaining it?
It could be that what he's saying is, I see that people are gossiping about me, and therefore I see that this factor that there is lashon hara rampant among the people is something that's been around for a long time, maybe for 100 years.
Right. So that's apparently what you have to see. You have to say something like that to apply it to the general public, because based on what Dustin Rio done, you have to now somehow apply that to the general public. How is the whole nation supposed to be responsible for what these two guys did? Right.
Right. You could argue, it only happened yesterday and already people are talking about it.
Right. So that's why for the last 150 years they've been enslaved.
It's possible.
So internally, the Rashi needs a little bit work, right?
Yes.
But so I'm just, aside from the internal work that we need to do to understand the Rashi more properly, right? So I'm simply just trying to apply what the Maral is saying here in terms of the essence of Klal Yisrael, that the essence of Klal Yisrael is that they are fitting and worthy of kapara and slicha, right?
Right.
So therefore, in order for that to take place, right? In order for that to take place, you need to have for a kapara, you need to have sometimes a certain type of a punishment that's, or let's not say not exactly punishment, but you need to have a certain amount of suffering, right? In order for the kapara to take place, you have to have a certain amount of suffering to take place. That's why one of the reasons is that on Yom Kippur, we have to fast. We have to the five inuyim, right? We're going to be learning about that. The five different ways that a person is supposed to suffer, right? On the day of Yom Kippur, because that suffering is inherent in the requirements for him to receive a kapara. That's like when person brings a korban, right? When a person brings a korban, right, that's part of his kapara as well, right? But a person's supposed to look at the korban, he's supposed to say to himself, well, that's supposed to be happening to me, right? It's supposed to be shechting him. It's supposed to be, taking his head off, flaying his skin, offering him up on the mizbeach. That's supposed to be happening to him in order to achieve his kapara. But Akash Baruch was kind, and therefore he allows us to do the same process through the process of bringing his sacrifice, a korban, right? But there's for kapara, there's a certain amount of suffering which is in general required to take place. And so therefore what the moral is saying here is that Klal Yisrael, in essence, it's befitting for them that they be tohor and naki from chet. So in order for that to happen, they have to go through suffering. So if you realize that the purpose of the suffering is to bring and affect the kapara, an atonement, and a slicha, and a pardoning of sin. So therefore, you understand that the suffering is not simply as difficult and as displeasing it may be. Nevertheless, there's a tremendous benefit in it. So I just referenced this Rashi to what we just learned over here, and then this is in paragraph number 10. Okay. But then they just since we started working on the Rashi, so the Rashi needs some internal understanding, which we need to spend time on. We're not going to do that right now. But okay.
Well, I see that the paragraph 10 talks about the kapara and the slicha and cleansing from the sin, but I don't see what that has to do with the Rashi we just read.
No, because I'm offering the actually, to tell you the truth, one second. I'm trying to apply the Rashi, right? That in terms of the question that Moshe Rabbeinu had. Moshe Rabbeinu had the question, why, what sin was there? He said, Rashi says Moshe Rabbeinu wasn't asking the question, why is Klal Yisrael suffering more than any other 70 nations? He didn't ask that question. He asked a different question. He asked the question, what was the chet of the Klal Yisrael that they, right, were now more than any other 70 nations? He didn't ask why are they suffering. He asked what was the sin, right?
Right.
Maybe we'll, let's see, tomorrow's Erev Shabbos. I'll tell you, for now, let's finish the paragraph now, and maybe we can reapproach the paragraph again next time Yom Rishon we met it maybe.
ולכך לישראל החטא מקרה להם ולעמוס החטא עצמי lahem. And therefore, Israel, for Israel, the sin happened for them and for the nation. The sin itself is for them.
That,
I'm not following the logic here.
that it says here because for Klal Yisrael fit for them that they should have a atonement and a pardon, a kapara and a slicha. Why? Because it's befitting that they be pure and free from sin. L'kach Yisrael chet mikri lehem. Therefore, by Klal Yisrael, it's called incident. That's right. It's not accidental. It's incidental. The word is incidental, right? It's mikri lehem. The word a chet for Klal Yisrael is incidental, not accidental. It's incidental, right? And almost a chet atzmi. And by the rest of the nations, it's something which is in essence. The fikach a chet asher hu be'etzem who cotton nikshav yosef and a chet gadol shu b'mikra. Therefore, a chet which is in itself a sin in essence, even if it's small, that's considered to be more than a chet which is great but is only incidental. There are many proofs to this. But now's not the place to discuss all the proofs. Don't be difficult for you to understand that the chet that we see the Chachamim is by the sin of the things that the Chazal were mentioning in the Gemara about Avraham Avinu. Don't think that there, even though it may seem to be slight in your eyes, but don't think, right, that it's inconsequential and incidental, because since it's taking place at the shores, it's taking place at the root, that's something which is considered to be a sin which is a sin in essence rather than an incidental sin. Okay, look, we'll go over this again on Yom Rishon. It's worthwhile going over this again. And it could be we may, I don't know, maybe touch on the Rashi again and try and clarify the Rashi, maybe, if we have a chance. Okay, let's take a break.
Thank you, Rabbi.
And Mitzvah Shem will continue.
Yeshkayach, Lou.
Okay.
Baruch T'yeh, Meir.
Yeah, thank you. Very good. Very good.